Is a resistance just any kind of negative emotion, or is it something like in the mind?
It's both. I mean, resistance, resistance isn't necessarily a negative thing. Resistance is a part of you that refuses to let go, a part of you that refuses to take a step into the unknown, a part of you that refuses to open to higher energy in the universe. That resistance is showing you that you're ready to move on in your life and you don't want to do it. You'd rather choose a kind of like a death-like thing, or the familiar, what you're comfortable with, than really moving on in your life. So resistance isn't really negative, it's just telling you you're ready to change. And then there's that, me change? Me, I have to live in a world that's a little bit different than this thing that I'm so familiar with every day? And of course that's what makes it unhealthy. Not the resistance itself. The resistance itself is really a healthy thing. So it's, in the mind, it's in the emotions, it's in whatever, Doesn't matter where it is, but it comes up when people are ready to take major steps in their life, even minor steps in it. I mean, you go into the grocery store and you want to change the laundry detergent that you use, You can stand there for a half hour. Well, should I do this one? Should I do that one? Should I, We are creatures of habit. And our habits are so strong that when it comes time to let go of them, it's really difficult, and there's all that resistance. So I think that's a much better way of looking at resistance than whether it's a negative emotion or a head thing, or, it's all of those things. But those things crop up because people are ready to really change in their life. From little changes to big changes, there's always going to be some kind of resistance. The resistance to getting off of drugs, to getting off of alcohol, to the resistance to changing relationships, I always kid around that, God created marriage, God created divorce, But we hold on to these situations like, and there's always reasons instead of letting go. Opening, when one door closes, another one always opens. Always. So all of these things are like resistance. You understand? And the resistance is not unhealthy. It's a healthy kind of energy that is telling us it's time to change. It's time to step into the unknown. And when you want to have a spiritual life, your whole life is about stepping into the unknown. Because the energy of God, spirit, higher energy, it goes beyond anything the human mind can comprehend. It has a logic completely its own, and when you open to it, you have to have the guts to step into the unknown. Otherwise, it doesn't come. So I don't think resistance is unhealthy. I think it's very healthy. It's what we do with it that is unhealthy. That clinging to things that are killing us in many cases, but they're familiar. And with familiarity, we're comfortable with the familiar instead of let it go. Stepping into the unknown. And that's in life, and that's in, because as I said just a minute ago, if you want to connect with spirit and you're doing inner work, you are trying to connect with an energy that goes outside of all human rational comprehension. It has a logic completely its own. It's connected to the infinite. And in order to, open to it, there has to be some deep level of surrender inside. You have to let go of things. Otherwise, there's no room. You're full of yourself, and there's no room for it to come in. You can only put so much water in a glass, It starts running all over the place. And this is the same thing. When we're full of us, there's no room for that. But to let go of us, there's all this resistance. Because we're so familiar with this world, and even if it's a crappy world, we're so familiar with it, that, it's really what consumes us every day. But if you really want to grow, you have to let go. There has to be some deep level of surrender inside, of letting go of things, so that this energy can come in and really begin to nurture you inside. And this is the human condition. It's not, like it's just one or two people. The whole human race suffers from this. Letting go. Opening. Making room. And, there's room inside us for relationships, for money, for God, for spirit, for chakras, for inner work. There's room in us for all of it. It's not this or that or that. It's this and that and that and that. But we have to open and let go, and there has to be some. And the first thing that has to go is our neurosis, our anxiety, our fear, our insecurity. Those are the first things we have to learn to surrender. How do you learn to surrender them? I'll go back to what I've been talking about all day. You got to get grounded in here. That will help you let go of all that fear, that insecurity, that thing in you that, it's like this about life.
So just being focused here won't surrender. Is surrender the same thing as bringing your mind here? Or is
No.
No.
Putting for the 100th time, when you bring your attention here, you understand, that builds the system that allows you to do everything I'm talking about. Understand? Having your mind here doesn't mean you're going to surrender, but it gives you the strength to build a system that allows you to do it.
I just feel like a beginner again. That's why I guess I'm asking the same question. But I guess I feel like a beginner all over again, and that's why I'm asking again that
Well,
kind of
then it's
question.
good to feel like a beginner. I feel like a beginner too every day of my life, frankly. Yes.
As a beginner.
You are a beginner.
I am definitely a beginner.
Truly a beginner.
What is this?
Huh?
What is this? And what is this meditation? What type of meditation is it? I don't even know how to describe it. What type of meditation is this?
I've been doing this 40-something years.
I like it, but I don't know what it is.
Let me tell you something. I've been doing this 50 years. I don't know, a long time. I've been doing it. I don't understand it. I don't understand. I know it works. I don't have to understand it. People call it Rudra meditation, which was my teacher, Rudy. His name is Swami Rudrananda. You go on, put Swami Rudrananda in Google, it'll all come up, But they call it Kundalini Yoga because it deals with the activating of Kundalini. But I don't know what it's called. I know it works. I'll tell you a funny story. This whole thing of, I've told this a lot. Some of you have heard it, but it's really worth telling again, okay? This whole thing of Kundalini. When I was younger, I was like 19, 20 years old, I was working at a child's coffee shop in Manhattan, 59th Street and Lexington Avenue. And I was working as a counterman, serving eggs and coffee and this and that, and toast and whatever. And on my breaks, I used to sit and talk to the manager, who was a Puerto Rican guy, Puerto Rican Buddhist, and we used to have these conversations about spiritual things, because I was always interested in that, but I really had no idea what I was talking about, and I was just interested. I read a lot of books, and so one day I'm sitting with him on one of my breaks, and he looks at me and he whispers, "You know anything about Kundalini?" So I looked at him and I said, "No, what?" I said, I've seen the word in a book, but I have no idea what it is, I told him, Anyway, the second time I heard the word Kundalini, right? I'm living in Paris, on the left bank of Paris. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, this 2 o'clock in the morning, I had a friend with me, and the two of us were completely stoned. And he gets down on his hands and knees and raises his arms up in the sky. He said, "Oh, sacred Kundalini in the sky," right? It's the second time I heard the word Kundalini. Third time I heard the word Kundalini. I've been studying with my teacher for about a year, right? And he says to me, "Stuart, do you know what kind of meditation you practice?" I said, "Rudy, I haven't the faintest idea." He said, "All I know is that it works, and I don't give a damn what it's called." So he said to me, "You do Kundalini yoga." So then he looks at me and he starts laughing. He says, "Stuart, I was teaching this for 10 years. And somebody came up to me one day and said, 'You know what kind of meditation you teach?' He said, 'I don't know, it works.' He said, 'You teach Kundalini yoga.'" It's like Shakespeare said, "A rose by any other name smells just as sweetly," And it does. It doesn't matter what it's called, what it is. Does it work? Does it help you? Does it help you to change? Does it open you inside? And that's the only thing that really matters, not what something is called. I've been offered Swami names and Swami. I never taken them. I'm not interested in positions. I'm interested in, does it work? Not what I'm called, and not being Swami Stuart. It's like a terrible thing, Does it work? I can't tell you how many I've turned down these, could have been Swami this and Yogi that, or some kind of name I could have had. Some student of mine came up to me and said to me, I want a name. So I said, "I'm going to call you Swami Bullshit Ananda," I said, I'm not interested in these things. I'm interested, does it work? Are you growing? Is it changing you inside? Are you getting closer to God? Are you really opening?
So the reason I asked, what is it called, is because I know that you're leaving and I need to learn. And I was going to start researching.
I'll suggest what you do, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I've written a lot of books.
Okay.
I really have. Go to Amazon, put my name in, Stuart Perrin, and bingo. There's a bunch of books I've written.
Okay.
And they're on what I do. One of them is called Navigating the River of Time. Another one's called A Lotus Flower in Muddy Waters. And there's another one called Light in Jerusalem. There's a ton of them that I've written. So what I do is no secret. But you can go there and find these books, and they will really teach you what I do. I'm not kidding you. So I'm not trying to promote my books here, but it's just a good way to really find out.
Mm-hmm.
And stay in touch with me.
Okay, I will do.
I get emails from people all over the world. I'm not kidding. I have a book coming out with letters from Isabel. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. That she wrote me 80 letters, and I answered her 80 letters, and we're publishing a book about these letters. And the book is called From Darkness to Light. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is something I've been doing for a very long time. And it's no secret. I just have never claimed titles. I'm not interested in titles. I need a little anonymity. I'm a very well-kept secret that's known all over the world. I'm not kidding you. So just, you can go on Amazon and all these books are there. Just put my name in. But what it's called, people call it Rudra meditation. Some people call it Kundalini yoga. I don't call it anything. I say, I call it works.
That's all I need to know.
What?
That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
What do I do?
What do we have to know? It works.
Okay.
It's worked for me. It saved my life. Saved my life many times. The day I met my teacher, I was in an airplane crash with my teacher, where he passed on in that airplane crash, and the only reason I'm alive today is he passed his soul into me. I was holding his hand, the plane hit a mountain, and his soul came right into me. And I knew from that point on, I don't have a life anymore. this is what I have to do. You know, it works. And my job today is just to find people I can pass this on to. That's my job. I found a job. I never knew what my job was in life. I found a job. Passing this on to whoever really wants to learn it, is willing to make the effort to learn it. The same way Rudy passed it on to me. I was willing to make the effort to learn it. And it didn't matter what it had to cost me. I was going to learn this. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? There's nothing wrong with being a beginner, you know? It's cool. I'm a beginner. Every day I get up in the morning, I'm a beginner. You know? I mean that. Good question.
Am I doing what I need to get stronger?
Yes. Yes, you're working brilliantly, dear, and just keep it up. I mean that. You're just doing incredibly well. Everything you do is just, I mean, how many times have I told you, you know, I remember you 3 years ago, you know? I remember. So just keep working on yourself. You're doing absolutely an extraordinary job of developing your life. Maybe I shouldn't tell you this, you know, you might go to your head, but don't let it go to your head. You know, you just keep doing the work that you're doing. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And you know, this book we did, it's coming out probably, I would say, 3 weeks or so, and people read, they'll see from darkness into light. From darkness to light. That's what the whole book is about. Mm-hmm. And patience. And a lot of patience. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I also have a website. You can go to stuff. Okay, it's been an incredible day today, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I always say, although this is not an easy job here, you know, it's my single most wonderful thing I do with my life, and I can't do it without you. And I'm always grateful for people that come and want to, please try and sit still. I'm always grateful for people that come and are willing to learn and to open, and it just fills my heart with a lot of gratitude and a lot of joy. Because I know a weekend like this is not an easy weekend. So anyway, God bless you all, thank you, and we'll have meditation at 9:30 tomorrow morning, 2:30, and then 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.